remember, someone else did not. You are alive for a reason.
Those voices in your head telling you to turn back, telling you that they'll fail. But I've failed in the past. I fell flat on my face. Listen to me. You can't have a better tomorrow if you're too busy thinking about yesterday.
In times of adversity, you do not have an obstacle to deal with. You have a choice to make.
It's no different because we messed up, because you fell off the wagon, you've been on alcohol and drugs, and you gave up on life, and you dropped out, or you've been in jail 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and you really want your dream to happen, and you're putting in your work, and nothing's happening yet. I promise you, if you keep pushing, if you keep giving me all your effort, it will happen.
No matter how far you have sunk, no matter how hard you have fallen, you've got enough grit, you've got enough grace, you've got enough faith, you've got enough courage to stand up. It's time to rise.
I will rise. You have to rewrite the story you've been telling yourself so that you can step into a new level of abundance, a new level of peace, a new level of happiness.
Understand, if you want to make your dreams a reality, you've got to understand that you can't quit.
Believe you can win. Because you only get one shot at this, King. We didn't come this far to come this far.
You can always start fresh. You can write a new chapter, or you can choose to write an entire new book.
You have the power. You have the tenacity. You have the grit. This is that time.
I know what I want to say, but I don't know how to make it come across in the best way possible. But once
This is that hour. This is that moment.
Life will blood in your nose. Life will leave you in a cardiac arrest. Life will leave you in an accident. Life will knock you upside your head, and there you get back up again. Others may quit, but not me. Not today. Not tomorrow. Not ever. Because I gave too much of this dream. It's up to you to keep calm and believe in your purpose.
Go after that dream. Quit playing small. You were meant to do great things.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Mr. Jones.
You guys doing okay today?
All is well, sir.
All is well? Anything anybody want to talk about? Jimmy, anything on your minds?
No, sir.
No? Anybody else? None? Every once in a while, I like to open the floor up in case anybody want to discuss anything philosophically or current event-wise, anything. We live in a wacky world, it seems like. So nothing to discuss? All right. You guys are the future. You guys know that, right? I'm not the future. You guys are the future. You know that, right? Yes. This will be your planet. Do what you will with it. So hopefully you guys are going to make a positive impact. All right. Do something real quick. And then we'll be ready to begin. But of course, I'm going to first make some announcements. All right. Today we're going to finish our discussion on chapter 5. We got a few more slides left for our discussion on learning. This will include us continuing our discussion, first of all, about punishment. That's where we left off yesterday, Tuesday, about punishment, and how punishment is actually one of the different ways that we learn, for better or for worse. We definitely learn through punishment. We're also going to look at some other ways in which we learn that include by watching others especially when it comes to the impact that watching violence has on children and even on us as adults. We think what we watch doesn't affect us, but in some ways it really does. Now, also too, I'm glad you're here today because we will be doing another short in-class assignment. Those of you who don't remember, I mentioned that at least 5 times during the semester, we'll do a really brief in-class assignment. All you will need is a sheet of paper and a pen. And this in-class assignment goes toward your engagement grade. And this is something real quick, you get 10 points just because you turned it in. All you gotta do is write a couple of sentences and move on your next. But I'll say more about that later on. What else do you need to know about? Of course, the next quiz is chapter 4, States of Consciousness, what we did last week. And this chapter, Learning, will be due September 29th by 11:59 p.m. Now, we're going through these chapters kind of quick now. So on Tuesday, we're starting another chapter. So this chapter is Learning. On Tuesday, we're going to talk about memory. We're going to learn the difference between short-term memory, long-term memory, how we take in information, how some information stays with us, and how some of the information leaves us. Like, why do we forget stuff? So that is what we will start discussing next week. And I believe that's it. Does anybody have any questions about anything? All right, well, without further ado, let's pick up a little bit where we left off on Tuesday. You guys should already have this in your notes if you were here. We talked about punishment when we talked about positive punishment and negative punishment. Positive punishment is getting something you don't want. Like a whoop. Negative punishment was just taking away something that is pleasant. Negative punishment, taking away something that's pleasant. Like, wow, I can't play my video game again? That's my stuff. I don't like that punishment.
Excuse me.
But that is a negative punishment, okay? Positive punishment, getting something we don't want. Negative punishment, taking away something pleasant or something we would rather not be taken away from us. Okay, we good here?
Response.
We also talked about, we went through this, and we talked about this little girl who was whooping or spanking her baby doll, which we know more than likely that's what happens to her. And some of us shared our own personal experiences with positive punishment. Remember, she's getting something she does not want, or in this case, the baby doll is getting something that it does not want. Okay, so there are pros and cons to positive punishment. I don't know how you feel about it, but here's the pros and cons, and then there's the cons. I want you to write down the cons of punishment because they will be on your next test. It'll probably be something that looks like one of these things is not one of the cons of punishment. So pros and cons mean these are some of the things that say it's bad to punish kids in this way. When we're talking about positive punishment. In this example, I'm pretty sure they're talking about spankings, physical. They're talking about physical punishment, basically. Excuse me.
Pros of punishment. Appropriate for dangerous behaviors. Temporary suppression. Provides an opportunity. To reinforce more. Behaviors. cons of punishment. Frequently inactive.
All right, so while some of you still may be writing the cons of punishment, physical punishment, that's what we should be in front of the word punishment. Let's look at a positive to physical punishment. Sometimes physical punishment may be appropriate if you're trying to prevent the child from doing something dangerous. For example, if you're with your niece, your nephew, or let's make it your child. You have a child, you have a 4-year-old, and when you go for walks, they just love running out into the street.
Even less.
That's a dangerous behavior. A child who just thinks it's fun to run out in the street in front of cars. So physical punishment, like a spanking, that may help deter that behavior.
Physical punishment.
That's a lot of risk. You're talking about child safety and maybe even their life. So physical punishment might be appropriate. Another situation in which physical punishment may be beneficial would be if it's a way of temporary suppression, or in other words, stopping whatever is going place, whatever's taking place, stopping it right now.
And a lowered self-esteem.
Physical punishment tends to stop something immediately, like a child is reaching for something they shouldn't be reaching for. You just smack their head. That just put it into that instantaneously. So that's a pro to physical punishment. Now, according to your textbook and a lot of other people,
Details.
I'm not sure how I feel about all these, but these are the cons or the negative aspects to physically punishing a child.
Different, more desired.
Number 1, frequently ineffective. They say that when you use physical punishment, a lot of times it doesn't even work. It worked on me for I can only speak for myself. It worked on me. Number 2, punished behavior may cause an even less desirable behavior. So because you physically punish this child, they may do another negative behavior. For example, let's say you physically punish your 10-year-old, and now, because you're basically kind of bullying your child, if they go to school, they bully smaller children. That's now that physical punishment has caused harm to somebody else. It can also harm them individually because physical punishment can also, and number 3, physical punishment can cause harm, meaning it can produce fear or lowered self-esteem. Some children who are given a lot of whoopings or spanking, sometimes their self-esteem is affected. Sometimes it affects their personality. They may be more fearful. It's like if you adopt a dog from a shelter and you get the dog home, you don't know anything about this dog. This dog's like 4 years old. And all of a sudden you do this to scratch your head, and the dog goes. That is clearly an animal that was abused. That fear has been produced because it was physically punished. You just went to scratch your head. That dog thought you were about to strike it. That's the type of fear that physical punishment can cause. And number 4, it does not relay information or teach different, more desirable behaviors. In other words, just because you do physical punishment, you still need to explain to the child what's going on, why what they did is inappropriate, why it's wrong. You got to teach them, okay, instead of doing this, I want you to do this, or this is the better choice. Sometimes physical punishment is just a physical punishment without any explanation. So those are the cons of punishment. So once again, on the test, it will probably be one of these. All of these are cons of physical punishment, except there'll be something over there that won't fit these. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Shaping. This is another way of learning. Now, I'm gonna let you write down shaping. It's probably not gonna make sense, but I'm gonna explain it. And I'm gonna use my dog Buddy to explain what shaping would look like, at least on a dog, at least on my dog. Once again, we're all looking at, this whole chapter is about looking at different ways in which we learn, or even sometimes the way animals learn.
closer and closer. Mm-hmm. To the desired.
You gotta decide you sign it. Everybody good?
Start by reinforcing.
Shaping.
Any
The
behavior
process of
similar.
teaching or guiding a complex behavior by rewarding closer and closer to the desired behavior. Well, what does that mean? Once again, our textbook doing a marvelous job of simplifying definitions. And not so much. So basically, shaping is trying to reinforce the behavior that you want. And you keep rewarding behavior. Let me use my dog for you. I showed you what it looks like as a puppy. That's him as an adult dog. That's Buddy. He's wearing his, if anybody's familiar with DragonCon, you might know about DragonCon? Okay, once a year downtown Atlanta, there's a big comic book science fiction convention. And people walk around in very elaborate costumes. Very elaborate. And so every year, we haven't been since COVID, probably around COVID, but every year, that used to be Buddy's costume. He used to go as underdog. We didn't go, because the convention, people go inside, but we just used to hang out outside and take pictures with people in the costumes. But Buddy would be so popular, he would be taking pictures with all these people. Hey, can I take a picture with him? So he'd be like a superstar for a day. So that's Buddy's costume. He's underdog. So Buddy, actually, he's kind of older now, so I don't like him doing it because I don't want him to hurt his hips. But he used to know how to catch a Frisbee in the air. So I had to teach him how to do that. So how did I do that? I used shaping to teach him how to do that. Now, keep in mind, shaping is rewarding the behavior as it gets closer to what I really want. So ultimately, what do I want Buddy to do when I'm teaching him how to catch a Frisbee? Ultimately, I want him to run, jump up in the air, catch the Frisbee while it's still flying, and then bring it back to me. That's ultimately what the goal is. Now, I just can't throw the Frisbee and he know how to do that if he's never done it before. He'd be like, what? So what I have to do is gradually introduce him to the concept. So for example, I may start out with throwing the Frisbee just in the grass. And he just goes and gets it. He don't catch it in the air, he just goes and gets it and brings it back. I'm gonna reward him with praise. Good job, Buddy, good job, you win, you brought it back. But is that the ultimate goal? Is that what I really want for him? No, because the ultimate goal, I want him to run, jump up in the air, catch the Frisbee, and bring it back to me. That's what I really want. But I'm gonna reward and praise him. I might even give him a treat just for going to get it and bringing it back. But that's not really what I want. So now, the next step, I may have him, I may just hold the Frisbee in my hand and I go, jump, 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 take it, jump. And I'm just making him jump up and every time he does it, I'm like, good boy. I'm just holding it. He's just jumping up and taking it in my hand and I'm letting it go. Good boy, here boy, jump, 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 jump. He does it again. Good boy. I'm praising him, give him another treat. That's still not what I really want. I want him to run, jump in the air, catch me back. So this time, I take the Frisbee and I throw it, and he runs after it, and he brings it back, but he didn't jump. But he still went and got it, so he's getting praise. Now, ultimately, I'm not going to praise him for doing that, because I really want him to do the whole thing. And eventually, he runs, he jumps in and catches it, and then, of course, I give him the biggest praise, because he did what I want. But I shaped it. I trained him in parts to do what I wanted him to do. That's an example of shaping. That's what it means by rewarding the behavior that you want, like closer and closer, rewarding it. So I like the way they phrase it a little bit. Reinforcing a behavior similar to what I want until I get what I want. Each step moves closer and closer to the desired. That's shaping. So, any questions about shaping? Any questions
To the
about what?
behavior.
Underdog. Okay. All right. We don't need that part. We don't need behavior modification. That's just ways in which people use techniques to promote or modify a person's behaviors. They may want to increase certain behaviors and eliminate certain negative behaviors. Anytime you're trying to change a person's behaviors, you're doing behavioral modification. But we don't want to get too deep into that. Cognitive learning theory, another way in which we learn is by how we think. Like we learn different things and responses and outcomes and expectations. We don't want to spend a lot of time on that. But we do want to talk about observational learning.
Yeah.
And that pretty much itself kind of defines itself. Chapter on learning. Of course, we learn by watching others. A very safe way to learn, when possible.
Where's the psychologist?
So the person who studied this particular way of learning, his name is Albert Bandura.
Albert Bandura.
And he studied human, he studied kids. And for him, observational learning is learning by observing the behavior of another person, or having somebody model behavior. He did a very classic experiment called the Bobo doll experiment. Has anybody heard of the Bobo doll experiment? I did teach you about it, right? I mentioned the inflatable thing that you hit, it bounces back up.
Observing the behavior.
This is that experiment. So he had children observe adults basically going nuts on a Bobo doll. Yelling, cursing, kicking, punching, just talking, to see how would that affect the children seeing adults do that. So I'm gonna show you a short video that also explains it. But this is actual footage of what took place. These are the actual pictures. So in the top, the blue one, you see an adult woman. She's all on top of it, punching it, throwing it in the air, kicking it. She's also saying things and yelling. And then of course later on, the kids who watch that, they do the same thing. Like literally they had the kids just off in the corner watching the adult come in and do these things. And they did all different types of experiments. They also even did adults who didn't act that way with the Bobo doll. And they had other toys in the room. So the kid could have played with other toys, but if they saw an adult beating up the doll, that's what they did. But if they witnessed an adult who was being calm and pleasant and not doing it, they responded the exact same way. Let me show you a short video. Well, it's real short already. They're just gonna give you another explanation of what it looked like and why they did what they did. This is real short.
In the early 1960s, psychologist Albert Bandura conducted a groundbreaking study known as the Bobo doll experiment. The study aimed to investigate the influence of aggressive behavior modeled by adults on children. The experiment involved exposing children to an adult model who either displayed aggressive or non-aggressive behavior towards a Bobo doll. The children were then placed in a room with a Bobo doll and were observed to see if they would imitate the behavior they had just witnessed. The results of the experiment showed that the children who had observed the aggressive adult model were more likely to display aggressive behavior towards the Bobo doll, while those who had observed the non-aggressive model were less likely to do so. This study demonstrated the powerful effect that observing others can have on our own behavior, a phenomenon known as social learning. The Bobo doll experiment laid the foundation for further research on the role of modeling and imitation in human behavior. The experiment's result has important implications for child development and the impact of violent media on children and will be used as a reference in future research.
Okay, like I said, it's real short. Now, so in this little experiment, if that's true, what does that say? We have to consider what happens when children grow up in a household where they see violence a lot. where they see one parent being physically aggressive or abusive toward the other? What happens when a child grows up, often seeing one parent yelling, cursing, screaming, throwing things at the other parent? Now, is it a guarantee that the child is going to grow up and do the same behavior? Absolutely not. But there is a possibility that they will, because that's what they're used to. That's what they're used to seeing. Unfortunately, some of you in this room have probably seen your parents or a parent and a sibling. You've seen some unfortunate things that occurred in your household. Hopefully not, but I've been a therapist long enough to know that every family is on what I call the dysfunctional scale. There are no perfect families. It's just not. Some families are extremely dysfunctional, violence, drug, prison, and some families just have a little dysfunction. Maybe there's some, I don't know, some out of control egos or some jealousy or somebody cheated or whatever. And a lot of people are in the middle. But every family is on this spectrum, I call it the spectrum of dysfunction. Every family is on it. There's no perfect families because there's no perfect people. But the families that are extremely dysfunctional, they're going to do the most damage to a child. Some of these highly dysfunctional families, I've known families, unfortunately, where sexual abuse is a part of what went on in this home. Sexual abuse, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, these are extremely dysfunctional families. And they exist. They make it difficult for a child. And it could affect the child growing up. Now, speaking of being impacted by what people see, it means we have to look at violence in television and video games. And does any of this matter? Now, I'm just curious, do any of you, by show of hands, think that playing a violent video game can affect somebody, can affect a person? Anybody think you don't? I believe it. Okay, let me hear why. Start here.
Well, I think violence in video games makes me feel more empathetic when I see violence in real life, because like I know this isn't actually happening, it's a real person.
Okay. Do you think, let's say if you were 8 years old, you feel the same way? I mean, how do you think an 8-year-old would feel?
I feel like that's a lot different. I didn't have that much access to violent video games back then, so I can't really speak on that.
Okay, that's fair. But we can assume you being older might make it better.
Yes.
Okay. Who else has it? Okay. Quick. Ashley.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that it definitely could have some effect. Just simply because, I don't know, you just typically become normal to like violence and stuff like that. And when you become normal to something, that means that, in my eyes, that means like, you have a high rate of doing it.
Yeah, and if nothing else, at least you're used to it.
Yeah, like, it won't bother you to a certain extent.
What were you gonna say, Jen?
Oh, sorry, you're going to the other side, doesn't affect your side.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me why you think it doesn't affect you. So you're saying violent video games does not affect people, or does not affect people?
Does not affect people.
Okay, go ahead.
I think it's more of just, are you mature enough to look at the difference, like to decipher the difference? Do you know it's not real? As long as those two main things, I feel like, nah, like I don't think, because again, it's entertainment. It's not real. It's obviously not. Like, you wouldn't want to watch someone get a headshot off and, oh boy, I'm gonna go and do that now. No. It's more of just maturity and just making sure, if you're mentally ill, there might be some side effects there too.
So you're saying if somebody has some mental health issues, maybe that could happen?
Man.
Okay, what were you about to say?
I think that, like, if you're a kid, it might be able to affect you more because you don't necessarily understand the context. But like, if I'm playing GTA as an adult, I
Let me
understand.
pause for a second. For those of you, does everybody know what GTA is?
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto. For those of you, I know everybody here hasn't played the game, but that is a very violent video game that has been out for years, and there's different 3, 4, 5. There's different renditions of it, and it's just you basically get points for doing dirt, like the most violent, aggressive, dirty things you can do. Continue.
Like, I understand that the depictions of the characters that I'm playing in the game are not good depictions of good people. Like, it's bad on purpose. So I understand that I'm not supposed to be modeling that behavior.
So I agree with you. There's nobody who said anything that I didn't agree with. Anybody else have something they want to add to this? The violent video games? Yes.
So with mine, I was like saying it does affect someone because I believe like the eyes are the window to the soul. You're constantly watching that, and you're like, I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like that does something to your brain. Oh, this is how you somewhat okay, like desensitized.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Today's a mess. Like.
I think we all kind of desensitized to social media and stuff like that now.
Which I'm going to get into because we're going to segue from the video games to television and movies. Because there is a heck of a lot of violence that children and we as adults see all the time, more than we realize. Now, I know many of you are probably very mature and you're not crazy. You can separate fantasy from reality. You're not going to play Grand Theft Auto and then go hurt somebody.
No, not at all, sir.
However, we're all not the same. Just because it doesn't affect you, that doesn't mean it's not going to affect someone else. You guys were really young, but there's something called the Combine shooting, where this is probably one of the first big school shootings that got really popular, where these two guys went to their school dressed in black in high school shooting it up. They literally said they practiced shooting from playing a first-person shooting game. I remember there was another story I read where there's a guy, a young man, I think a teenager, he got arrested for something. I don't know what he got arrested for. Somehow, he ended up getting a hold of police officers. He ended up getting out of his cuffs, taking the police officer's gun, and then stealing a police officer's car.
Squad cruiser.
And drove off. He literally, of course he was caught. He said, he got the whole idea of stealing the police car. He identified the game Grand Theft Auto, because I guess you can steal police cars in Grand Theft Auto. Is that true? I've never played the game. He got that idea from the game. So like I said, it may not affect you. You may have the emotional maturity and the intelligence to not allow it to affect you. But that doesn't mean your sibling won't be involved in a school shooting by somebody who was. So you're thinking, it don't affect me, but it may affect you some other way. Somebody you know may become a victim. We have so many school shootings in this country. We've been desensitized to even hearing about that. Is anybody shocked when they hear a school shooting took place? Is anybody like, oh my God, how could that happen? Does anybody feel that way? No, we almost just tune it out now. Because it happens every single year. Not just one, not just two, but multiple school shootings. Every time a school shooting happens, I turn to my wife and I jokingly say, well, I guess that'll be the last one. I'm being sarcastic, because I know that's not going to be the last one. I can guarantee you, there's going to be a school shooting. I guarantee there'll be 3 by May of 2026.
Only 3?
I'm being super conservative. It's gonna be more than 3. I'm being super conservative. And so I'm not gonna blame it on video games, but it may have played a role. So the American Pediatric Association has urged parents to minimize their children's exposure to violent media of any type. You have to keep in mind, the human brain is still developing, literally, they say up until the age of 25. So those of you who are not 25, your brain may still be developing. And the part that is still forming is the frontal lobe. That frontal part of your brain, that is where decision making occurs. Think about that. The part that's still developing is where decision making happens. That's why, for many of you, when you get to be 30, 32, 35, you'll think about what you did when you were 16 and 17, and you'll be like, that was stupid. Why did I do that? I know me and my friends have done it. One time, one of my close friends, we were sitting in the car, and we started thinking about the things we did. Mind-blowing. Like crazy, mind-blowing, stupid, idiotic stuff that we did as teens. That like could have changed our lives forever. Something as mild as having unprotected sex could have changed my life forever. When I was a senior in high school, so stupid. We shouldn't have been doing this. I'm gonna be honest, there was alcohol involved. I didn't live with my dad, but my dad was in the hospital, so I was taking care of the house and the dogs while he was in the hospital. So there was a party, because he's in the hospital. It shouldn't have been, but it was. We tore up the house. But that's not the bad thing. The bad thing is that I showed my friends where my dad's gun was, or somebody did. And the gun became a part of the party. Somebody was going, literally, supposedly he took all the bullets out the gun because it was a revolver, but he was still going around clicking the gun and talking about, let's go rob somebody. You realize how tragic that could have been? I may not be here now even if it wasn't me, even just one of my friends shot somebody. Because it was at my father's house. Did I tell you guys about my friend this guy hit his head on the rails, the train rails? Like that's life-changing stuff, but you don't think about this stuff when you're a teen. Your freaking brain is thinking about it. There are people who try drugs like, why did I wish I would never tried that drug. Well, I wish I would never drunk when I got behind the wheel of that car. So, decision making is not the best when you're under 25. Which brings us, here we go, desensitization. Now we're going to talk about television a little bit. The average American child will see 200,000 violent acts on TV by the time they're 18. 200,000? 200, not 100,000. 200,000. And what's crazy, a lot of those acts of violence are done by the good guys. So now, when the good guy wins, the good guy has went and killed a whole bunch of people. Does anybody have any idea how many people John Wick kills in his movies? There was one scene, I was curious one day. I don't know, you guys know John Wick movies? Because they're very violent. There is one, I think it's, which one is it where Halle Berry is in it, and she's got these two dogs? Was that 2 or 3?
Against behaving.
Anybody know which one that is?
I don't know, I think it was 2.
Okay, so one day, for those of you who haven't seen this movie, so John Wick he's this amazing hitman who was forced to come out of retirement, but now other hitmen are trying to kill him because he's got a contract on his head. And so he's with Halle Berry, the actress, and she's got these 2 trained Belgian Malinois who they train to fight too. And so in this scene, John Wick, Halle Berry's character, and the dogs, they have to get out of this mansion while all these people are attacking them with guns and knives. And I was curious. I said, I'm gonna count how many people John Wick kills in this one scene. This scene is about 12 minutes long. I believe it was over 70 people. I'm not exaggerating, in that one scene. Because there was a lot of one-shot kills. Like pop, pop, like headshot, headshot, headshot. And I was like, that is amazing. How many kills they got in like 12, 14 minutes. That's not even possible. You can't kill 60 people in 40, like it's not possible. Obviously you got a bomb. But once again, people can get desensitized. And now you got kids trying to understand what they're looking at on the screen. Because you got the good guy. You got the good guy killing people. He's not even a bad guy. Technically, in John Wick movies, the good guy kills more people than the bad guy. I'm just saying, if you really think about it. And notice the good guys in violent movies, they're good-looking guys. I mean, am I wrong? Think about I don't care whoever you want to think about. They're good-looking guys who are killing people. Yes, Jim. If they found what?
If they were trying to kill him, wouldn't that be self-defense?
If they were trying to kill John Wick, it would be, but is that how most people look at it? Is that how most people view John Wick? Is, oh, he's just defending himself. He's got a contract on his head. No, that's not what we're looking at for the action in the Bible. Kids who view violence on screen are more likely to show aggressive behavior. They just aren't. So here's some of the effects, some antisocial effects of learning by observation. Now, and this applies to even older people, this applies to adults too. Example, they analyzed 200,000 speeding tickets. And so as it turned out, there was an increased average of speed of drivers on the weekends following the release of a Fast and Furious film. We'll break that down again. There were more speeding tickets during the weekend that one of the many Fast and Furious films was released. See, now we're not talking about what's on screen affecting kids. At least be 18 enough, come on. One study showed that nearly 6 in 10 US networks and cable programs featured violence. Those violent acts in what they saw on screen, 74% of what they saw on screen, the person who did the violence went unpunished, meaning they got away with it. The victim's pain, we never see the victim's pain. For example, somebody gets killed, we don't see the family mourning the loss of their brother. We don't need to see that. Nearly half of the events that are portrayed were shown as being justified. Mm-hmm. Like technically, John Wick, I hate to say this, from the first movie, he really started the whole series when somebody killed his dog. I mean, you know, if you guys know the concept, somebody killed his dog because his dog was the last gift that his wife gave him right after he died, after she died. And nearly half the attackers were attractive. Now, speaking of this is something else that affects us as adults. And this is really concerning for me. Should be concerning for you guys. Talking about subject of hate speech. We can be desensitized to hate speech. Hate speech is considered hateful words that may produce prejudice or anger toward another person or another group or race of people. Hate speech. Our society right now, we got hate speech flying all over the place. All over the internet, all over social media. Just hate speech everywhere. We're used to hearing it now. People just yelling at people, calling people out their name, derogatory terms,
following the release,
stereotypical terms, racial terms. I mean, is anybody surprised when they hear somebody call a derogatory word?
Radio Rwanda.
Yeah, it's.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. But it's just. You talking about the movie too?
Talking about the Rwandan genocide.
Right. Who's Hotel Rwanda?
I haven't seen the movie, but
Oh, you haven't?
I do know the events of what happened there.
Has anybody seen Hotel Rwanda?
No.
So Hotel Rwanda is based on a true story, but the whole concept is what happened in South Africa when two
in 10 U.S. networks.
The Hutus and the
Tutsi.
Tutsis, which if they were both in the room, you'd be like, those are two people from like you wouldn't make anything of it. But society, aka the government at that time, were able to make the Hutus and the Tutsis make them hate each other. Over a long, extended period of time, they couldn't stand each other. They were probably closely related, nobody ever knew. But that was because the government, the South African government, didn't want them to get along. Because when you can have people going up against each other, they're weaker, because you don't want them to join forces. And ultimately, there was a period in time when, who was the aggressor?
I think first it was the Hutus against the Tutsis, and then later on the Tutsis then invaded and started purging the Hutus.
The victims.
So basically, one group ultimately decided to exterminate the other group. So they got access to thousands and thousands of machines, and they literally went through the neighborhoods
Usually
and
not
streets,
shown.
killing kids, children, everybody, literally macheting them. Literally, people who were used to be neighbors.
Really happy events were
Neighbor
portrayed
killing
as
neighbor.
justified.
If I may, I remember a particular interview where this one dude was asked why he murdered his neighbors with a machete, and he famously responded with, because everyone else was doing it.
It's a lame argument. Yeah, yeah. So hate speech is a great way for people to be divided. This country is in a very divided state.
Nearly
I actually call it
half
divided.
the attackers were attracted.
But here's the thing, there are other countries who like what they're seeing going on here. They're like, yes, the best way to bring down a nation is to let them destroy themselves from the inside. We don't need to attack them. Let them do it themselves. Let them hate each other. A divided nation is a weaker nation.
Can also affect adults.
We're so busy hating Democrats, hating Republicans, Republicans hating Democrats. Meanwhile, the billionaires, the millionaires, both here and across the globe, they just sit back and make more money.
Sun Tzu's Art of War.
What was that?
Sun Tzu's Art of War, he mentioned that.
Like, we don't even realize how we're just being, it's like we're down here fighting amongst each other for the scraps. People trying to figure out how to pay the bills, how to go grocery shopping. People wondering if I'll ever be able to afford a home. And going at each other with hate speech. Meanwhile, the billionaires are just making more and more and more money. And meanwhile, they only have two objectives: to make even more money and to maintain control. That's what it's all about, control. They don't need any more money. Most billionaires, they're gonna die and pass their money to somebody else. But they love the control. Do you know there's really only 5 companies, corporations, that own most of the television stations in this country? And by that, they get to dictate what news looks like to you. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get off my soapbox in a second. I'm just sharing information. I want you to learn some free stuff. There's one particular company I was just looking at today. There's a station, there's a corporation named Nexstar Media Group. They own the most television stations in the US. They're based in Texas. They own or provide services to 200 stations across the country. 200. So they're going to be controlling what you see, what you don't see. So there we go. But hate speech is a big problem in our world, and we need to make sure we know who we're disliking. Okay, now, When it comes to learning through observing, yes, we can see negative behavior and violence and hate speech, and we can learn and imitate that, but we can also see what's called pro-social behavior. That's where we see helpful, positive things. And there are people who are able to demonstrate positive, pro-social behavior. People who, some people will consider Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., certain activists, certain parents. Models are sometimes the most effective way because they're able to lead through their actions and not necessarily by their words. Now, I don't know, do you guys think do we have role models in today's world? I'm seriously asking, do you think we have people who are like, yeah, that's a good person, I need to be like that? Do we have positive role models? Okay, who do you think is positive? LeBron James. Okay, you said he wasn't. Do you know, why do you consider him a positive role model?
He started school his hometown.
He did start school. He did.
I don't think role models have to be big, famous people. They can be people around you that be like, hey, I want to be more like this guy.
Role models do not have to be celebrities at all. I'm trying to think it's better if they're celebrity or not. See, it's weird because we don't really know celebrities. We think we do. Like if you had a neighbor up the street, you're like, I admire him. Did you see him every day? You don't see a celebrity every day. You don't, like, you just don't. And so you don't know what. I always say there's more to people that we don't know than that which we do know. So you could be like, yeah, I really think Taylor Swift is awesome. I think she's a great role model. And maybe she is. But you have no idea what her day-to-day life is like. You have no idea. She could be doing a line of cocaine right now. I don't think she is. But I'm just saying, we have no idea what she's doing. Yes. But by the way, I think, the only reason I think Taylor Swift is a good person is I remember when she was blowing up, she was still doing stuff for like her fans and showing up with Christmas gifts at random people's houses. Oh my God, it's Taylor. Like, I remember her doing all crazy stuff.
Now, there's two things with this. I can name off a few people.
Okay.
Number one is very.
It's who?
Sorry.
Number one is
very ironic.
Okay.
But Keanu Reeves, he's so nice. He's so nice.
It's really ironic because, for those of you who know, Keanu Reeves is John Wick, so it's really funny. I just talked about somebody killing him. But I have heard, not personally, but through the media, multiple times, people say Keanu Reeves is one of the nicest people in Hollywood. I have heard that, and I know if he takes a picture, if Keanu takes a picture with you, he will not touch you. Like, you know, you want to be a picture, you hug. He will put his hand behind you, his arm and his hand will not be on your body. He doesn't, when he travels in New York, he doesn't even travel with security. He'll get on the subway, he'll give up his seat to whoever. He will see a stranger on the street, he will hand people money. Like, many people consider him like one of the nice people in Hollywood. I have heard that so many times in so many different other celebrities, everybody says that. Okay, yes.
But the other side of that, though,
What?
people are so fake.
People are fake, yes.
Oh my God. It's just be yourself. Just be yourself.
But maybe people don't like who their self is. I'm just saying.
But it's just like, it's you though.
But everybody don't like themselves.
At what point are you like faking it, you know? Is it fake or is it just like a different side of yourself?
Well, it depends. Like a lot of celebrities do stuff like that for publicity. It gets a good name for them.
That is true. That is true. Now, Keanu, I mean, I'm not defending him or anything, because I don't know this man, but I know he doesn't do anything for public consumption. Like, people just find out. Like, he doesn't promote, like, I mean, because there's some celebrities who donate millions of dollars, so we'll never know. Because they're not trying to get publicity for it, they're just doing it. Which I prefer that personally. Sometimes I wish they would make it public so they can set an example for what other celebrities could be doing. But yeah, a lot of people, unfortunately, celebrities are fake. We have, some people say we have a representative that we put out to the world. That's the facade, that the person we want people to think we are, but we're really not that person, because most people are afraid to be themselves. They're not that confident. Everybody doesn't have high self-esteem. And I get it, especially in this world. This world is all about, hey, do you have this, do you have that? If you don't live like this, then you're inadequate. You don't make this much money, so what's wrong with you? Look at social media. You wearing this, you driving this, you got this kind of money, then you're inadequate. I've seen so many videos of women talking about the guy needs to make 6 figures. He's 6 feet tall. You gotta be all this. I'm like, okay, I mean, that's great. I mean, I've literally heard women say, my man needs to make $500,000 a year. Okay. I mean, you can want what you want. Even ladies, guys, you guys can want what you want. But if you prioritizing money, maybe you could get a guy who makes 6 figures. Now, what if he cheats on you? And what if he's physically violent? Like, is that worth the money? I mean, I don't hear people, for some reason, I don't hear your generation talking about love. I don't hear it in your songs. I don't see it on social media. Everything seems to be about material possessions. I'm just saying, I don't hear love discussed. I don't hear it sung or nothing.
No, that's true. I talk about that all the time. That's true. I don't know why it's like that.
Yeah, please, like, what y'all do, like, why? When I was your age, there was tons of love songs. Old school love songs, current love songs. Everybody's doing love songs.
Relationships are like more common and stuff too. It's like relationships is like, it's almost starting to become abnormal.
Oh, relationships abnormal?
Yeah.
I'm coming to your second, Jordan. If I decide to go into the business of being a wedding planner or a wedding coordinator, your age group, I wouldn't even be trying to get y'all business, because you all ain't getting married.
Yeah, that's true.
If I was a wedding coordinator, I was doing wedding, I would be like, you know what? I'm going strictly for 40 and up, and people who are 40 up, people who are remarried. That's who I'm going for. Because your generation, I ain't trying to bash y'all seem to struggle with not only staying in a relationship, y'all struggle with even starting a relationship, let alone get to marriage. I remember a couple of years ago, I asked this question. I forgot why did I ask this question, but I remember asking the guys in the room, how much would you be willing to spend on an engagement ring? There was some really funny responses, because most of the guys in the room didn't want to spend anything. One guy said $200. I'm just being honest with what he said. I'm just saying. So, like I said, is there anybody in this room that's married? Shocking. Shocking. And you don't have to answer this question. Is anybody, who in here is dating? You're in a relationship. Okay. I'm seeing like 4 people. And what's funny, your generation, it appears, not to say it's reality, it appears you have so many options. Because you guys can pick up a phone and swipe left or swipe right. You guys can be interacting with somebody within the next hour, and yet, I mean, we got the internet. You guys can meet people in other cities, other states, other parts of the world, and yet some of you guys are single. Many of you are single with no prospects even. One of you are like, man, I don't even, man, when was the last time I went out with somebody? I don't even remember. I'm just saying, but you got, I don't know. Like I said, if I was a wedding coordinator, I was like, you know, I'm gonna go into wedding coordinating. I'm not even presenting myself to you guys. I'm going strictly older. I'm promoting my business in churches. I know most of y'all ain't in church. I'm going to churches. I'm going to, I don't know, senior citizens. Like, I'm going wherever the adults are. I'm putting my stuff in museums. Just stuff where I know y'all don't know. Because Cause I'm just saying, cause Jordan, help me out here.
Well, social media exists. The goal of social media is instant gratification. Society has become just ran on instant gratification. We don't want to put in the work for these things.
I agree. It's everybody. Some people call it dopamine. Social media and the internet provides a dopamine hit to our brain. That means it provides a feel-good. Dopamine is the feel-good thing that's in our brain. When we're on social media, we get that feel-good hit. So, because we're getting mental stimulation, we're getting something that feels good, it's entertaining or whatever. So, every time you go on social media, like you look at that TikTok video, there's a dopamine hit, there's a feel-good hit. But now, you need another one, and now you need another one. And they keep feeding you the videos because that's what the whole algorithm thing is all about. And so now you guys are conditioned to just feeling good in the moment, and then looking for the next moment to feel good, and then the next moment to feel good. That's why so many of us, and I have my phone in my hand way more than I should too. But so my wife's parents live with us, and they have some physical health issues and some mental health issues. And so to get some help, we do have a CNA worker, a worker who comes in and helps in the morning with my wife's father. So often, the help that comes when they do their job, but so often, they're sitting on the couch doing this. Even if she doesn't have anything to do, even if my wife's dad is just watching TV, doing this while you're at work is not a good look. It's not. And the only reason we don't say anything is because we're not paying for the service. Her dad was in the service, and so the VA provides this person. At least this person shows up on time. Because this is the only person I've probably rated 5 that actually shows up on time. Your age group, one person shows up on time. They all, when they're done, or they think they're done, they pull out their phone until her dad says, hey, I need to go to the bathroom, or can you bring me something to drink? Look at TV with him. Even reading a book looks better than this. It's that instant gratification, that dopamine hit. So please, if you have a job, I don't know what a job is, if you can, just my suggestion, you're adults, make your own decision. Unless it's an emergency, don't look at your phone while you're on the job. If you work at Chick-fil-A, don't. I literally had a client last year, 18 years old, senior year. He got fired from his job. He got suspended, but ultimately got fired for working at Chick-fil-A. Because he literally said, they get mad at me because I was on my phone, but I had already finished what I needed to do. But you're still on their clock. They're still paying you. Even if you finished, you took out the trash, you did whatever else you're supposed to do at Chick-fil-A, you sitting there in the back doing this, it's just not a good look. And if they fire you and you blink, well, I mean, I understand why they fired you. Even though you did your work, they still don't want to see you doing it because it looks like you could be doing something else, something for the company, which is why they hired you. But, just my thoughts. All right. Now, let's pull out a sheet of paper. We're going to do an in-class engagement assignment. I said there's about 5 of these throughout the semester. Here's the second one. You need to put your name on it. If you don't have a sheet of paper, borrow one from somebody else. You need a pen. This goes towards your engagement grade. You got something right with? You got a pen? Just got it. Yeah. And you want credit for the engagement assignment? You don't have to have credit. It's worth 10 points. You don't have to have it. What do you need to buy? Why don't you just ask one of your classmates? You have a spare pencil and a piece of pen, pencil, really easy. Pen, pencil. I just want you to write your name on it. It's a real simple in-class assignment. I said there are 5 of them. All you need to write down is 2 or 3 sentences. This, like I said, this goes towards your engagement grade, and you never know when there's going to be one. So, okay. So, we've already started the discussion. Yes. So we talked about role models. We got a few examples. Your in-class assignment. Number one, I need you to identify someone you think is a positive role model. Let's move one person. Now, if you can't think of anybody, you go, I can't think of anybody. Then we're fine. Say why you don't think, why you can't think of anybody. You know what? Why do you think you can't think of anybody?
Like we're naming somebody, or we're writing down a model.
You're gonna write down the person you think who is a positive role model in today's society. Who is that person? And then number two, why do you believe that they are a good example for others? If they're a role model, if you think they're a role model, then they should be a good example for other people. People should want to be like them or behave like them. So literally 2 or 3 sentences. That's the assignment for the day. Identify someone you think is a positive role model for today's world that we live in. I mean, it don't have to be like, if you want to say Martin Luther King, you can. I don't mind. But why do you believe that person is a good example for others? Why do you believe that they are a good positive role model? Or what makes them a good positive role model? There are no wrong answers, so yes. No, it don't have to be a famous person. No, please do not think it has to be a celebrity. I don't really know celebrities' lives. We have no idea. Yes.
What do you think that there is
Carter?
positive?
If you don't think there are any positive role models, then say that and say, why do you think there are no positive role models? I have a hard time trying to think of positive role models.
He was recently killed last week.
Damn.
So, like I said, there's no wrong answers because this is just your opinion. That's all it is your opinion. No wrong answers. Answers, get your 10 points for today's engagement assignment.
Celebrities and people I like are less public. You need about them.
You have influencers, you have political pundits, matter of fact, everybody who has a cell phone now has a platform to talk. Everybody. You get your opinion out, you have a podcast. So, any one of you, anybody here got a podcast? Any influencers in here? No influencers? Are you raising your hand? You're an influencer? Okay. How many followers you got?
On where? Because on TikTok, I have 1,900 and.
How much?
1,900.
Okay. And where else? You somewhere else?
Mostly on TikTok, but I'm trying to grow my platform on Instagram.
Okay. Like I said, anybody with a cell phone? Yes, sir. This class is what? Yeah. Which is like Nintendo. It's not really necessary. I mean, it's not, like I said, as long as you got your name on paper and you wrote something down, you get your 10 points for the day. Now, I am curious, and then we'll wrap up maybe 5 minutes early. I am curious, if you don't mind sharing with the class, what some of you put down. I'm curious, because
Who will we write down about the person who is a positive role model?
Why do you think they're a positive role model?
Whoever.
Who, did you write down somebody?
Yeah, my sister.
Okay, and then, since you have the microphone, do you mind sharing with us why do you think your sister is a good positive role model for you?
Because she knows what reaction I have, and she knows how to help.
So she's a good support to help you.
Yeah.
That is a good role model. She's a helper. We need more helpers, people who are willing to serve in society. So I like that answer. Okay, who else wants to share somebody you wrote down? Come on, which one down? Come on. I see something. Her?
I think her name is Greta Thunberg. I remember.
Oh yeah, she was a young child about she's about the environment.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she's done other like political activism and stuff that she got workers in.
So, I can't remember. Something happened to her. Wait, is she on the spectrum? Is she on the? I don't. Okay. Anyway, Greta Thunberg, the first woman, younger, like as a teenager, like a really young person, she became a strong advocate for saving our environment. That became her mission in life, to like save our environment because we're doing some serious things that are hurting this planet. And so she's won awards, she's been recognized. She's older now, but I think she started, I don't know, she started this at like maybe 12 or something. I think she's like 20 now. So, okay, that works. Anybody else? Come on, let's get some more people. Who'd you write down? Who? Isn't he there?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. For those who don't know, Juice WRLD is a rap artist who was, I believe, died about 3 or 4 years ago. I don't know.
2019.
How long ago? It was only a year ago?
No, just like 6 years ago.
Okay, so it is a few. Okay, so why did you pick him? Like, I know nothing about his music. I just know he was popular, I know he sold out concerts, and I know he's not alive anymore. That's all I know.
He made music that touched the hearts of millions, and he brought light of, what we're struggling with, we can get through it.
Okay, so he had a positive message in his hip hop music. I can respect and appreciate it. I also think he's from Chicago, where I'm from. Okay. All right. Okay. Like I said, there are no wrong answers. I'm just curious to see who you guys came up with and why you chose that person. All right. Who'd you pick? Go ahead.
I put Messi.
Who?
Messi.
The soccer player?
Yeah.
Okay. Why'd you pick him?
I put because of his.
Wait, I'm sorry, Joe. What's his first name?
Lionel.
Okay. Lionel Messi, for those who don't know, is pretty much the biggest soccer player in the world. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay, in the world, probably in the last 15, 20 years. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, go ahead. So why'd you pick him?
I put because of his dedication in the sport and his sportsmanship, and even though he's known around the world, he still remains grounded and focused on his team and demonstrates respect.
I don't follow him or soccer that much, but I've never heard, as great as he's, as legendary as he is, you don't really hear anything negative about him.
No.
And he doesn't seem to have a big ego, even though he could.
Yeah.
Because women like him, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, I think it just seems like people. She's nodding her head. Like people, like if he's performing, if his team is playing, it's going to be a good crowd.
Yeah.
And there will be a lot of women there. I'm just saying. Okay, let's see. Let's go on this side. I ain't heard them on this side. Share somebody. Yes, who'd you pick?
I said my dad.
Well, why'd you pick your dad?
He's really selfless. Sacrifices a lot.
That just makes me feel good. You just made my day. Because first of all, it's awesome that you have your father in your life. That's huge. Because everybody in this room does not have their father in their life. And then some of us who do have our fathers in our lives don't have a father who they could describe as being selfless. So he just thinks about other people all the time. That is, we need more role models like that. That's what we need. If we had more men on this planet like your dad, we could change the planet.
So, Mr. Jones, can anyone select a family relative as a positive role model?
Of course, you picked your sister.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you already did. You picked your sister. You picked your dad.
What about anyone else here?
I don't know. Let's go. Who'd you pick?
I picked my mom.
Okay, why'd you pick mom?
Even though she goes through a lot, she sacrificed herself to help me out with me and my siblings, and she puts other people before her. She puts her feelings aside to put others to be, to see that they're okay.
Your mom's a very strong person, isn't she?
Yes, because she's been through a lot.
And that's what, unfortunately, that's what makes some people really strong, because they've been through a lot. I mean, it's unfortunate, but then because of her strength, she's able to be there for you guys. She's able to lead and provide and guide. So Yeah, let's see. What's your name right here? I don't usually hear from you. What's your name again? Allison, what did you put down?
And my mom.
Your mom too. And why did you put your mom?
Because I was the same thing, she sacrificed a lot for me to like be in school and everything.
Yeah. Ideally, it would be great if everybody could say their mom or their dad. But, you know, like I said, there are no perfect families, there's no perfect parents either. You said Naira? Who'd you put?
I picked my mom.
You picked your mom too? Okay. Why did you pick your mom for the same reason or some other reasons?
Because like for me, I don't think there is always a positive from mom. Not everyone's always good in a sense. And I feel like she balances that two things pretty well. So I think it's really good because I don't feel that I'm not always positive. Always positive from one to others.
Okay. You go one person. What's your name again? I'm still learning.
Osvaldo.
Pronounce that again? Osvaldo. Okay, who did you put?
I actually put my mom also.
Why is the mom section over here? Everybody over here pick their moms.
Yeah.
Why'd you pick your mom?
I mean, I grew up with a single parent, so she provided a lot, sacrificed a lot, and yeah.
I know I mentioned my father a little while ago, like having a party at his house when he was in the hospital, but I basically grew up with my mom. I didn't even get to really start getting to know my dad until I was a junior in high school. I got to know him from my junior year through to my senior year. He died within that year. The 1 year I was getting to know him, that's when he died. But I was okay because my dad, when I was a little boy, when we lived with him, he wasn't a great father. And I say that because he was verbally aggressive toward both my mother and my sister, who was not his child.
What happened to your father, Mr. Jones?
He died. He had some sort of brain procedure or something, and he died after that procedure.
I'm sorry to hear that. That's a shame.
I mean, that's something we're all going to have to transition from whatever this existence is to whatever might be next. We're all going. All of us have an expiration date. Sorry, it's just the reality. So we got to make all these moments in life count. All right. So we are going to stop there. Does anybody have any questions about anything? Okay, before you go, let me remind you, the next quizzes are due on September 29th. Chapter 4, States of Consciousness, Chapter 5, Learning. Also on Tuesday, we'll begin a new chapter on memory, which is Chapter 7. Okay. Leave the paper, make sure you have your name on there so I can give you credit for today's class assignment. Please have a safe and wonderful weekend, and I'll hopefully see you on Tuesday.
Mr. Jones, when's the third test?
Right now, you mean the second test?
Yeah, the third.
Second is scheduled for October the 2nd. The third one is scheduled for October 21st.
Gotcha. Thank you, sir.